So the agenda for this session is teaching teens, cognitive flexibility and what it is, teaching drama versus teaching language, and some takeaway activities. I hope I will be able to show all of them because I put all my favorite activities, and now I think that, okay, 45 minutes might be not enough for that. So we start from teaching teens. I will ask you to join us on Slido again. We are really fond of this, and we really want to share this how you call it, application with you to use at your lessons. So the more you try it, the better it goes. So yeah, you go to slido.com and enter the code you see on the screen here. After you enter this code, you can type in what you think are the challenges in teaching teenagers. Okay, we've got the first word. Okay. This is so cool to see your answers appearing on the screen. So we've got motivation as the most important word here. We have keep them engaged, make them talk, behavior, interest, generation gap, that's a cool one. Flexibility, interesting. Behavior, once again. Listening, okay. Communication. I will give it a few more seconds to see what else appears. Make them talk. Be relevant, interesting. Language barrier. Respect opinions, build the interest. Speaking and listening. Self-esteem, ooh, that's interesting. Ignoring, well, yeah. Okay, I think we've got enough because the central word is motivation, of course. And while we are looking at this slide, it would be interesting to think how many answers are about language and how many answers about psychology. Someone also wrote hormones tsunami, yeah. Yeah, I can only see speaking and listening as the language category. The rest is all about either life competencies like communication or psychology like motivation, building interest, behavior, and so on. So yeah, the biggest problem is definitely not about the language, and whatever we develop in our methodology is most probably not about the language, but about classroom management and about understanding their emotions and so on. So yeah, this is the picture of teenagers. We usually look at the teenagers, and very often someone wrote on the previous slide that there is a generation gap. So from the top of our age, we look at these teenagers who look quite adult, and we want them to act adult as we do, but they behave very differently, and it annoys us, of course. Yeah, I look at these punks and I think, oh my God, this is so annoying. But then when I think back to 17 years ago, I was one of them, absolutely one of them. I didn't have colorful hair, but I wore completely the same clothes, and my company would be the same. How does that work? Why we have this generation gap? It's the problem that you can see comes from bacteria in this meme, and will continue into the future, like on the first picture. But it's always been a huge problem. Yeah, every generation, every older generation would think that they, as teenagers, they were better. Life was better. This is George Orwell, the author of 1984, who would say that every generation imagines itself to be more intelligent than the one that went before it, and wiser than the one that comes after it. Right? And that is something absolutely normal, but how does it help us? It helps us to look at the culture as the whole, and into art and music as the popular parts of culture, films and music. And John Savage has this wonderful book, which is called Teenage, The Creation of Youth, 1875-1945. He explores different teenage subcultures and why they are created. And one of the main thoughts there is that every teenage generation looks around at the world and sees how horrible this world around is. And so they resist this world. And so they blame adults for creating such a world. So this generation gap is both responsibility of miscommunication of these generations, and this is a subconscious process. So we need to understand that, yeah, we are now responsible for the present time, and they are responsible for the future. And so we need to give them as much as they can take to create a better future for them, but not a better present for us. Yeah, I really recommend this book. And it's based on music. This is John Savage, and he says it is important to listen to youth because they are at the sharp end of society that adults have created. They often have solutions to problems that adults find intractable, because they see with a clear and critical eye the world they have not made, but which they are required to enter. This is quite an important thought from Savage, from John Savage, especially about critical eye of a teenager, because they have to experience things that were created earlier, before they entered this world. And so, yeah, we need to think of this responsibility whenever we experience the juvenoia. Juvenoia is an interesting term created by David Finkelhar, and he explains it as a fear or hostility directed by an older generation towards a younger generation, or towards youth culture in general. So usually we would hear that, this music is so loud, this is the noise, this is not the music. But it's not about the things that are on the top. This is all about the inner resistance to what happened before, what led the world to the way it is in the present. So this resistance would influence culture, would influence the way they behave. Okay, I will omit this. Going from there, I will ask you to join Slido again and think what is the most rewarding in teaching teenagers. We were talking about challenges, and what is the most rewarding? Oh, seeing happy faces. I would relate to that a lot. Seeing their interest in the result. A chance to see things differently. Wow, wow. I think there are more rewarding things than challenges. This is so great. Their respect. A chance to be a teenager once again. Wow. Mutual trust. Okay, and we have the result in the center. Ways to overcome challenges. Wow. So various answers. I will keep it there for a while. But I would like to talk about the result. And this is one of the things that I teach my drama students, not language students, but drama students. And this is one of the things, here it is. One of the things written in this book. I don't know whether it's visible. Anyways, I hope it is. This is Les Kurbas, The Philosophy of Theatre, our friend from 1930s. And what he was saying, that the result in the creative process, the result is not the most important, because the most important is the process of the creation. And if the process is positive, if the process is interesting for everyone, the result will be there. If we do not, we have the aims, we have the goals, but if we focus on the result, this might be not interesting for both sides, for the teacher and for the student. And Les Kurbas used to be a great teacher as well. I recommend reading it if you're interested in either theater or philosophy. And yeah, so result is something that is far away. We need to understand why we are doing things in the moment of doing things. And usually it's not about the result. It's usually about having positive emotions, having fun, and being engaged and motivated. Result is something that never motivates. And this is something I realized while teaching drama, and I teach drama in English, and this is something that really changes your approach to the lessons. And I will show you later some of the examples on how to do it. Okay, I don't have the time to follow, but okay. Research shows that due to developments in the limbic system of the brain, teenagers are extremely prone to risk-taking. They also tend to be driven by emotions rather than logic. Someone mentioned the hormone tsunami. However, they are very capable learners, often more capable than they are given credit for, and are also very adaptive. The challenge then is to find a way to tap into this adaptive capability. What it means that all this behavior and lack of motivation and so on, we can use it for our own benefit as the teacher and for their own benefit as those who want to have fun. Before we jump into drama activities, let's have a look at what cognitive flexibility is. Cognitive flexibility is one of the cognitive control functions. It is likely that language learning has the potential to help develop students' cognitive control functions efficiently while they are exploring the new language. There are three cognitive control functions: working memory, inhibitory control, and cognitive flexibility. Let's have a look at what working memory is. Okay, so you can see this on the screen. Look at it, and now tell me what's missing in the chat. Okay, dog, eggs, parrot, plant. Okay. Thank you very much. And now what's missing? Okay, thank you. Thank you. Wow, you're so active. This is so great. Okay, right you are. So this is working memory. It is the ability to hold information in mind so that certain tasks can be completed. If at the end of the session I ask you, do you remember what was there on that slide? Most probably you won't remember all of the things, especially their order. Most probably you will remember dog, yeah, from here. You will remember the dog, you will remember the eggs, most probably. No one mentioned watermelon. No, someone did. No one mentioned, you will remember something that you can relate to, yeah, but something that drives emotions in you. And here on this picture, that would be only the dog. So this is information to keep in mind for a certain task here and now. It's not about the result, it's about working here and now and being involved completely. And for that, you need to make, okay, we will talk about it later. So inhibitory control, another function, another cognitive control function. So we've got the eggs here. Let's have a look at the eggs. And now here is the question. How many eggs are there? Here we have 5, 6, 5, 6, 4, 3. Okay. Sorry, I need to show you how many eggs there are. So here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 eggs, right? This is not about memory. This is about inhibitory control, which is connected to the attention and critical thinking, both of them. We call it inhibitory control. But today we are talking about cognitive flexibility. Now, cognitive flexibility, we are working with the same pictures. This is about using information for something else. For example, I had a cup of coffee this morning and ate a watermelon, but I was looking for my jeans, and suddenly I realized that they are in a pile of apples. Because my dog and my parrot were fighting and put my jeans and eggs together. That would be the story. And I saw it only when I put on my glasses. Yeah. So this is working with the information, making connections, and it's quite related to the flexibility. It's needed for solving problems, and it enables students to look at issues from different viewpoints, to think outside the box, and to adapt to changing conditions. And I will ask you now to make up your own story while I'm showing these pictures, and to use them in the order they appear. Just make a sentence. Okay. Next sentence. Next sentence. Yeah, you've seen according to the picture. And now next sentence. Look, there was a dog and a parrot. They found blue jeans and glasses. My dog likes to eat eggs. After drinking a cup of coffee and wore my glasses and jeans. Okay, I lost it already, but it's really, I will download it later and read all the stories. They are very funny when they wear glasses and trousers. Okay, parrot eats eggs and puts glasses on to see the dog. Oh my God. And we can go on forever, yeah, using all the pictures in a row. But this is about making connections between things that are not really connected, right? So yeah, this is cognitive flexibility, and this is what we are working with today. How it helps us for drama activities and for English language, both. At the English language lessons, we use it closely, the cognitive flexibility, with the language learning, and we're using it for real life. Let's pay attention. You can make a screenshot to read what cognitive flexibility is more, but let's pay attention to this. Cognitive flexibility is about taking part successfully in conversations. For example, it requires more than the mere exchange of prefabricated sentences. Students need to learn to use language creatively to express what they want to communicate. They might need to create sentences they have never heard or seen before. And this is what you've done. Like my dog and my parrot put on their glasses and eat eggs, right? This is a sentence that most probably you've never said or written before. But this is needed. This is needed for your creativity. Sometimes such things create some scientific breakthroughs. Yeah, if we develop this particular category, cognitive flexibility. And regarding cognitive processes that are happening in our brain while speaking, because we mostly use it in speaking activities with students, in writing, in production activities. Before we say something, there is this area of the brain which is activated where the long-term memory is situated. There we have the knowledge about the topic, language, and context of interaction. From the long-term memory happens conceptual preparation, which leads to formulation, which is in the thought, and articulation, which is in the mouth. While these processes are happening, the speech comes from long-term to working memory, and it's processed there. Knowledge formulation requires knowledge about the grammar, vocabulary, register, and discourse structure. Articulation requires knowledge about the language, pronunciation. While this process, there are also metacognitive processes happening, which is self-monitoring of both formulation and articulation. This is the process inside and outside. Crazily a lot. And this is only to say a sentence. Yeah, these are the processes we are all going through automatically when we know the language. But for children, this is quite a long process. First, to activate long-term memory, then to prepare, to formulate, to articulate, and in the moment to self-monitor. And this is something that drama activities really help with. So a little bit about myself. This is me teaching. I don't really have a uniform for that. And these are the students studying. And this is what drama looks like, drama lessons. They are completely in English. And there are students who have their English level starting from A2, finishing with C1, and they're all working together because it's not about the language, but their language is developing in a really strong way, because what drama gives them is a little bit different from what language learning gives. So if we look at the difference, teaching English has language as the subject of the studying, and teaching drama, teaching acting has language as the instrument. Teachers and students focus on verbal skills in teaching English, and in acting or drama, they focus on non-verbal psychological, physical skills together with the verbal skills. And the main part is that the product of teaching is students' ability to understand the language and use it for communication in teaching English, while in teaching drama, the product is the students' ability to collaborate, interact, develop memory, keep circles of attention, be creative. And I just told you about all the cognitive functions, cognitive control functions. Express feelings and emotions using their voice and body. So that's quite a lot, but there is nothing about the language. Of course, we can combine and we can use drama elements in language learning. Why? Because it integrates language skills, it integrates verbal and non-verbal communication, it integrates cognitive and affective domains. It gives the real context, which is lifelike, and so the language is meaningful. It has multisensory inputs and whole person learning. Self-awareness, motivation, sharing responsibility, discovery, group dynamics, low resource, which is very important. If you have the background of activities you can do, you don't need anything, neither a book nor a teacher's book. You just learn activities, and using your study materials, you can incorporate drama activities into them every time. That's what I do. And yeah, we are finally going to the activities. Now, excuse me, I need to clap to check the time. Okay, I still have some time. I have a clock that reacts to clapping. So let's start from the very beginning. Very often we have this introduce yourself part at the beginning of the school year. And most probably all students know each other for 5 years now, and they don't need to introduce themselves anymore. Everybody is the same age in one classroom. Everybody knows mostly everything about anyone in this classroom. So how to make this activity work? Made up personality. Yeah, you make up a character, which is a part of drama techniques. We can give this character a name, a job, age, superpower, likes and dislikes, aim, maybe something else. But these are the main traits of the character. So my made up personality would be, my name is Pineapple Cherry. I work as a fruit artist. I'm 40 years old. I make art out of plants. This is my superpower. I like fruits. I don't like meat. And in future, I want to have an exhibition in MoMA in the USA. Okay, done. Now, what we can do with it? We can work with attention, with memory, working memory, attention, and so on. Every student has a made-up personality, and then we need to line up by the age. Yeah, I'm 40. Yeah, I'm not in reality, but my character is 40. Yeah, so we line up by the age, by the alphabet, by the likes and dislikes, maybe grouped into likes and dislikes, and so on. What are the benefits of this activity? First, we need to ask questions. What's your name? My name is Pineapple Cherry. I need this information to line up by the alphabet. Then, how old are you? I'm 40. Okay, we line up by the age. What's your favorite food? Fruit. What's your least favorite food? Meat. What do you want in future? What's your aim? I want to do this. So there are several different constructions, grammar constructions we can recycle with the students when they come back after summer. And these are essential constructions needed every year, like introduce yourself part. Then which grammar topics can we apply to it? Any, really. Any topic, whatever you are learning, you can incorporate there. Like we can have another graph, experience, and in experience we can have, or trips, yeah, and there we can put Carpathians or Cherkasy or Kharkiv or any other place, and we can write, have you ever been to the mountains? Yes, I have. Yeah. So, and we can do this for questions and just construct whatever we need with this activity. And we can transform it to any topic. Another and one of my favorite parts is tongue twisters, and we can use them not only with the real tongue twisters, but also with some constructions that students are struggling with, like, for example, must have been. Yeah, it must have been my friend, but I didn't recognize him and took him for another person, and so on. So this construction is something that students might struggle with, and we can use the whole sentence like that as a tongue twister. I have here the tongue twister for students who struggle with the th sound. Room 333 on the 3rd floor rents for $33.33. And there is this, the biggest struggle is th and r, moving from th, r, and t. So we have room 333, rents, d, t, and so on. How to make it interesting and how to make it work? First, you need to learn it, and you can do it with putting the gaps for students to say it, and then changing these gaps to the other words, and then mirroring. This is one of the of my favorites for drama work. So we work at the same time together. Room 333 on the 3rd floor, rents for and then I can slow down the tempo, I can change the rhythm, I can add some movements like room 333 and so on. Yeah, and my partner has to do the same at the same time. Also to copy the emotion, mirror the emotion. What are the benefits? Apart from drilling the th sound, we also work with their empathetic skills, their possibility to be friendly, their attention to another person and their movement. This is physical attention, something very different from concentration, and physical attention is quite important these days. So these would be the main two. And again, we can work with different grammar constructions, and we can transform it to the topic we have. For drama techniques, it is important to have an aim, to understand what's the aim of your lesson and whether they can be aligned with the technique you're using. There should be some focus on this activity, especially for the instructions, because the instructions are usually a bit complicated. You need to understand what's the level of your students, both cognitive and language skills. How much time you will need for this activity, what do you need to prepare, most probably nothing, or just some writing on the board. And there should be a follow-up after the activity, understanding of its variation. Important things, there should be a discussion after such activities about how students feel in this activity. Most probably they feel uncomfortable, and this is okay. Then you can use mother tongue only to specify instructions for drama activities, but usually I don't. I just try to model it as much as possible. We recycle the language we know with such activities, and the teacher's role is facilitating but not presenting something. For example, another drama activity, and we have the task here. Computers, there is a text about different computers, the history of computers, and then computers can now do a lot of clever things. But are they more intelligent than us? Why and why not? And yeah, I have to answer this question. I need to think, but we can make it a game. And for this game, I will need my colleagues, Jana, or anyone who wants. Could you please now listen carefully?
Yeah, I can.
Thank you. And I will show the example of this activity.
We're going to play a game called Three-Headed Expert. The way it's going to work is that Mel, Will, and Tyler are going to form a person who speaks one word at a time. Now, this person's a very special guest on the talk show that I run, okay? And we're the studio audience. We're very lucky to have them. Can one of you tell me in what way is this person an expert, or what's their biggest accomplishment, or like what's something they're an expert in? What was that? Toe fungus. Toe fungus. Great. Athlete's foot. This is an athlete's foot expert on my talk show. My talk show seems great. Everyone, let's just get right into it then. All right, everyone, this is Three-Headed Expert. Everyone, thank you. It's great to see you today. I'm your host, Mason, and as you can see with me on stage, I have an esteemed expert. You probably already know him from his award-winning literature. Although he needs no introduction, I will let him introduce himself. So please, tell us who you are.
Hi, name
is
George.
Georgian. Everyone, this is Georgian. This is Georgian. Great.
Okay, there is a long video, but this is the model of how this exercise works. So now we have our question. And together with Jana, we will be a two-headed expert. Together with Jana, we will try to answer this question. So computers can now do a lot of clever things, but are they more intelligent than us? Why? Why not? Let's answer just this part. I
think
that
computers
are
not
so
intelligent
as
people.
But
sometimes
computers
can
complete
tasks
that
are
complicated. Okay, that's enough. Thank you very much, Jana. This was the demonstration of two-headed expert, but usually it's cool to have 3 students for that. It makes it more complicated, but you can start from 2 as well. One word at a time is the main rule of this game, just one word at a time, because very often students would want to continue their sentence. This is a great activity? Because first, they need to follow the grammar very properly. And second, they need to create one thought together, even if their opinions are different. Yeah, and they cannot talk about anything else. Anyways, that was the activity. There are lots of benefits, starting from emotional development and so on, and finishing with the language work. Grammar topics, any grammar topics, but they have to be pre-taught before, or you should use something that students already know, and not to pay attention to the mistakes they make if they don't know these rules yet, but they want to say something. And yeah, you can transform it to any other activity. We had it for the activity from Prepare grade 6, Ukrainian edition, the story about computers. There can be other discussion ideas. For example, brain versus computer. There can be a 1-minute talk when a student has to talk for 1 minute non-stop. This is the only rule. Whatever he says on the topic brain computer for 1 minute is perfect. And really, this is quite a difficult task. Then persuasive communication. There can be one team talking about computers, why they're better, and another team talking about brain, why it's better. And for persuasive communication, we can use brainstorming. There are specific rules to brainstorming. there should be short ideas, there should be time limit, there should be roles in the team. In the team, there should be a timekeeper, someone who follows the time because there is the time limit, and a writer, someone who notes all the ideas. And very important, no criticism. So every idea is great and important for the task. Team 1 and Team 2, they talk about benefits of different different networks, yeah, the brain and the computer one. After that, you can develop this activity by turning students to the person from one team turns to the person from another team, and they just use the ideas they were brainstorming to persuade each other what is better. Okay. I will just check the time once again. I have to clap. Okay, I think I have to finish now, right? Jana, please tell me whether I have a few seconds.
Sadly, yes.
Okay, I will just really briefly show you some other activities. This is gibberish. I use it for giving directions. So questions are normal, but they need to specify where to go. And the person who is explaining where to go speaks non-existing language. Another one, gibberish activity, is to have unreal words, but to understand what are these words, what part of speech. Yeah, for example, pring would be a noun and briefly would be an adverb. Yeah, even though there are no such words, but we can work with the parts of the language. How to form comparative and superlative of these words. Really great thing to understand the rules of comparatives and superlatives. Reversed instructions. For example, in Prepare Ukrainian edition, there is sports topic. And here is how the task works. Student 1 starts miming some sport. Student 2 is asking, what are you doing? And he says something different from what he does. I'm dancing. So student 2 starts dancing. Student 3 asks a question to student 2. What are you doing? And he says, I'm playing basketball. And student 3 starts playing basketball, miming, playing basketball. And so they go with these questions into a circle, and then you can start another circle. It's also about attention. I will miss this. About attention, about communication, and also total physical response. Then another one, fishing game here, work with the emotions. You can ask students to write down all these sentences in the correct way on separate papers and then start a conversation using one paper to incorporate it naturally. Okay, we won't play this game, unfortunately, maybe tomorrow. I will keep it for tomorrow. Yeah, to wrap up, you need to know the aim to use a drama activity. Keep the focus, be open, be positive, be motivated, be the example, and enjoy what you do. With Prepare Ukrainian edition, and you can learn more about it on Publishing Linguist UA. That's it from me.